There's a princess in a tower. Oh my gosh, that's just like me.
We are talking to Brian Darcy James, who's playing the title role in the Broadway musical Shrek. And obviously the person we're looking at now looks very different than the person we see on the stage of the Broadway Theater.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm slowly becoming an ogre. I'm convinced. I'm eating a lot of onions lately. No, I always wonder what people think when they see these interviews and they look at me and they think, that's the guy who's playing the Green Ogre. I am blessed and have been afforded this extraordinary opportunity to be completely transformed with this makeup design and the way they're telling the story. That I guarantee anyone who's watching this that this is not what you'll see. You'll see Shrek, and that's what happens.
And was that a plus for you rather than minus? Some actors might be intimidated or not want to go through that process. And in your career, you really haven't had to play a character in a lot of heavy makeup.
No, I've done nothing like this before, but I think that it is, for me personally, it's the real kind of manifestation of what you do as a kid when you're playing, make-believe, cowboys and Indians. Whatever it is that you're doing in your imagination has now been defined by an external appearance that's been designed by these genius creators. So I feel like it's nothing but a plus and nothing but bliss, really, because it's an extraordinary character. He's so funny. He's got such a complexity in terms of what he wants and what he's trying to achieve and how he fits into this world. There's real things to hold on to as an actor, and it's a great experience.
We are talking to Tony Award winner Sutton Foster, who plays Princess Fiona in the Broadway musical Shrek. Let's talk a little bit about the physical character of Fiona.
Yeah.
And how she looks and how she doesn't look like
right.
you and how she does look like you.
Yeah. Well, right. Well, Princess Fiona has the way that we are, she has the typical look of the princess, the green dress, fiery red hair, crown, which is always very exciting. But she has a curse, and so at night when the sun goes down, she becomes an ogre. And so I do transform into an ogre, which is interesting. It's actually the final transformation is a quick change, and it takes. We have it down to about a minute, but I literally stand still for a minute while 6 people swarm around me and make me an ogre. It's like a tornado, and then I'm like, I'm an ogre. And but it's pretty remarkable what they've done with the transformation, especially of Brian. His transformation to Shrek, I just think is mind-blowing.
You were saying Fiona's a redhead, Inga was a blonde.
Yep.
You're a brunette. Does your hair color affect your portrayal? And do blondes have more fun? Redheads or?
Oh, I know, right? That's a good question. I have to say, I decided. I definitely think when you look at yourself in the mirror, I remember looking at myself as Inga, I have sexy costumes, this blonde hair. It definitely affects how you behave, Even with Fiona, she's a fiery redhead. I've decided she's a Scorpio, She's like, that sounds so method, but, and that, even just looking in the mirror and seeing a crown on your head, you're like, oh, that's so informative, of who this character is. So I think it definitely does. I think costume, wig, makeup, all of those things, all of those elements help me as an actor sort of cross that final goal, to really defining a character.
We're talking to John Tartaglia, who's playing Pinocchio in the Broadway musical Shrek. For those people who don't know, how does Pinocchio fit into the story of Shrek?
Well, Pinocchio is the leader of the fairy tale creatures, and the fairy tale creatures are banished from Duloc by Lord Farquaad, played by Sieber, and they are sent to Shrek Swamp. And basically, we are helpless, we are stuck there, we are miserable, and Shrek, of course, doesn't want to have anything to do with us. So the only way to get him off of our swamp is for us to beg and plead with him. So he then goes to talk to Farquaad, and that kind of starts the story, because that's when he finds out about Princess Fiona and the tower and the dragon and all that. So we're basically there to, I guess, to be a catalyst for him to go somewhere.
All right, we're talking with Christopher Sieber, who's playing Lord Farquaad in Shrek.
Evil.
Okay, so how does a boy from St. Paul, Minnesota, keep playing like British royalty? You played knights, now you're playing lords.
I have no idea. I just get looped up into these, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, he did that once. He can do it again." Yeah, it's kind of funny because growing up in Minnesota, I always kind of wanted to do this, but I didn't think I'd always be playing princes, knights, and lords. But it seems to be working out. I'm not going to complain. It's paying my mortgage.
So we're talking to Daniel Breaker, who is playing the role of Donkey in Shrek. Now, Daniel is joining the show for the Broadway engagement, having not done it out of town. How did that happen?
Well, I got the call when I was holding my newborn. I was covered in baby vomit, and Jason Moore called me. It was sort of the last thing I thought I would ever, last person I thought would call me at this point. And he asked me if I was interested, if I was available, and I said, yeah, let's play.
Donkey, at least in the version we know, is sort of a wisecracking, very sort of funny character. Does he remain that way here for the show?
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's looking for a friend, so I think I'm reverting back to my high school days. Which is exciting and freeing. He's just looking for a pal this whole journey, and he tries just about every tactic to get it.
What's your expectation of how Broadway is going to respond to Shrek? Who do you see the audience? Is it just going to be little kids, or do you really think it's something for everyone's show?
We've really tried to make it for everyone. I think one of the reasons that the movies were successful in the way that they were is that they appealed to children, but they also had a sort of audacious adult sense of humor. And we've always tried to ask, a lot of the creative team has kids, so we always ask, will the kids like it, and do we like it? So we feel like if it makes us laugh and the kids laugh, that hopefully it'll make Broadway audiences laugh as well.